We are back here again for another amazing episode with Group Chat Over Brunch.
Yes.
We are here at the beautiful Rood restaurant out here in my new city, Lakewood, Ohio. It's a beautiful ambiance. Like, y'all can't see what I see, so I need y'all to come out here, get a great meal like we just had, and experience Rood. I'm going to hand it over to Ramad, because Ramad set this up for us, y'all.
It's my pleasure, but I'd love to give a shout out to my homegirl, Annabella. AB, thank you. Thank you to your staff and your partners for allowing us to film this here. Thank you for the delicious food and the awesome service.
Yeah.
We give
Right
thanks.
on.
Thank you, Annabella, AB. Well, look, the pastries, this right here, amazing.
Yes, that was
so
the
before
slice.
we begin,
I think
it was a
breakfast
pumpkin
slice.
Yeah,
Breakfast
pumpkin.
slice.
Look, you just gotta come
Yeah.
and experience.
I think
the
Haja and I
menu.
will be fighting over it once we're
Yeah.
done.
Cheesecake,
Yes.
yes, and it's like a
Yes.
pumpkin, so it's like
Let me get my fork ready.
so seasonal, yeah, so on time.
Oh, and the focaccia.
And the focaccia and the butter bread,
The butter
And
bread.
all the things.
all the sugar
Yes.
things.
Delicious.
Yes. The quiche was delicious.
Awesome.
The quiche was so dope, y'all.
Yes.
It was really good.
Yes.
So before we begin, we always open up the table with a toast. So here's to the women who understand that strength does not have to mean that you are by yourself.
Right
that
on.
we are moving with strength, but with
Yes.
caution. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
I want soft rows ahead, soft
Salud.
curves ahead. That's
Right.
what I'd like.
So today we're going to talk about strength and what it means to be strong as Black women. What you over there laughing about, Ramad?
My drink is tasty.
She was shimmying. She was shimmying for her drink.
I got this apple cider mimosa that is, I was excited about the apple cider because I love apple cider and it's so good for your stomach. But yeah, this is apple cider mimosa. Okay, we're back to it. So we always open up the table with a great stat. So we want to talk about women, and I mean, Black women know this all too well, how being strong can be an impediment. It can be, have a huge impact on us physically, mentally, emotionally. But this stat says nearly 75% of all unpaid domestic and care work worldwide, including mental and emotional labor, a load linked to stress and burnout. So women perform this work. This is a source. This is sourced by the National Institute of Health.
Three-fourths
PubMed.
of women.
Three-fourths.
Women,
Yeah.
unpaid domestic and care work worldwide.
Unpaid.
That's
right?
3/4. That's like everybody.
I feel like it's probably
lot.
more than
That's
that.
a lot.
And right. That's what's like.
Yeah.
They didn't have time to respond because
And
they
if
was
I remember-
busy.
If I remember,
That's really what it was.
Literally what it
55%. We come in with 55%, but then we comes to the unpaid, unfair,
Yep.
unhealthy.
Yes.
We're always in the majority.
Yeah.
How
It's
about that?
physical and emotional.
It almost seems like it's
absolutely.
on
not just
purpose.
one side of it. And I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll get into it. But
Yes.
like, what's heavier?
Yeah.
The physical labor, the emotional
Oh yeah, there's
labor?
layers and levels. To
It's
that
layers
one.
and levels to it. So we talk about being strong, like it's a compliment. I think you mentioned that
I
earlier.
did.
Like,
I did.
People like, oh, you're such a strong woman. When I hear that now, I be like,
It makes
That
you
part.
pause.
Yeah.
It made me
That
pause.
part.
And right.
Not anymore. I am reformed.
that's it. Soft me up.
Soft me up.
But that strength can quietly turn into expectation and then burden.
Yeah.
So who holds you when everyone leans on you?
My pillow. My thoughts and prayers.
Like, hey, who holds you when everybody leans on? I know shit, nobody. Anyway, let's talk through it. So, what has emotional labor looked like for you in your life? Or I mean, and if you were blessed, if you are one of the few Black women, that little 0.25%
Yes.
that has not had this labor, even if you know somebody, because I know, listen, if you're a Black woman and you tell me you have not seen this in action, even if you have not
yeah.
experienced it,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna doubt if you grew up with Black people. But anyway,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
what has emotional labor looked
So
like for you?
I didn't get my struggle bus card stamped that I'm
I
not part of the
know.
community. Okay.
We all got a story to tell.
Right.
You definitely got a story to tell.
I like that though, the fact that you frame that with it often does come as a compliment.
It
right?
does,
because
yeah.
strength is always, valor and strength and
Yeah.
just that's great. to a fault. Maybe in
Right.
my 20s hearing that, I'm stronger.
Yeah.
I'm getting stronger, but now it's like I just want to hand that hat off. Here,
I
you
do
can take
too.
that.
I do
Yeah.
too.
Take that.
What did it look like for you? Like even in your 20s, like how did that show up?
Ooh. So,
Yeah.
I feel like I've been strong all my life.
I've been
Of the
strong
womb,
Right.
of the
All
womb.
my
all
life.
my life.
Well, I'm the
My
child.
life, I had to
I'm the
fight.
child of an addict. And I watched her overcome a lot. I was her best friend, my mom. So I feel like I had those life lessons already in front of me. So I had to take heed to that and understand what, I would come up against. So it was a humbling experience. I'm thankful for the experience because it made me who I am today.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be nobody different. So
Yeah. I love that for you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all, to your point, we all have a story around strength, and like what that looks like. And I think if I were to go to the beginning, mine was more physically. Like I just remember being a little girl growing up in Cleveland Heights, super muscular. I mean, like from a young age, super, super, super muscular. If I smiled, you could see like the vein in my forehead. And so I would like cover my face when I smiled and look different. You know what I mean? Like, because my
Right.
strength was in my physical body.
Yeah.
And I did not love that. Like I would always it'd be hot and I'd have on long sleeves and pants and my parents would be like, aren't you
Meanwhile,
hot?
so many of us are trying to get that body, but okay. but that's how it is.
But that's how it is,
That's how
you know
it
what I
is,
mean?
yeah.
Especially, I didn't see a lot of girls like that when I was growing up, And it was only until I saw like FloJo and the runners, and then I started to love running. And then I was like, okay, there's a purpose for my body. Like I had to see the connection between the physical strength that I had and looked like I had, and then the actual like who else can I identify with, being an African girl and having a body like this. So it was already different. And then on top of that, I was like, and I'm muscular. So I think it's just interesting in terms of the origin story for me when it comes to strength. It just takes me right back to the physical aspect of myself.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I think for me, and I don't know if you have something to add. My sisters and I grew up with a single mom. And my father left, I think I was 8 months old. That's the story that I've been told because, I don't remember. But my mother raised us, and she had to be so strong. It was like my first example, kind of similar to you and mine. Like my first example was watching this woman do everything on her own and raise these 3 girls by herself. So I was telling y'all, like I was shoveling snow. Like I got up at 7:30 this morning and I'm shoveling snow, like a long driveway of snow. And it's not intuitive for me to be like, let me call somebody. First of all, I don't want to pay nobody because I can be cheap about certain things. But I will say this, in whichever way that strength shows up, I'm grateful that I can. What I am learning is just because you can don't mean
Doesn't
that
mean
you
need
should.
to.
Or
Yeah,
that you
that
need
part.
Hello.
That part.
So I'm grateful that my mother raised us and showed us how to have strength, how to still get things done, because if nobody else was going to do it, if she didn't do it. So she had 4 girls, so we all, had to be this way. So that's how, and it was a very heavy emotional labor for her because we didn't have much. There wasn't much money. I remember we used to, my mother's paychecks would come in the mail, y'all, and we would squeeze the envelope so we could see how much it was. And it was so low. Even when I think back to that time, the amount of money that she was raising us on was next to nothing. So it's like, that's what I had to see. And I know emotionally for her, it was hard to figure out how to make it happen for us, herself, and deal with the physical and energetic aspects of it. So yeah, that's what emotional labor looked like for me. Yeah, girl. Let me take a sip.
Yeah,
Right.
that part.
Even talking about it, it releases that memory
Yeah.
of what you, and I don't want to say struggle through, but what you experienced.
To experience, yeah.
Right? And I think even with me, I grew up with a mixed situation. Parents, sometimes not. Mostly my mother and then my dad, and they got back together. But My mother was in the Navy. And so I looked at her role in that space. She loved what she did. She had a camaraderie, and there was a level of strength. And during that time period, I think my parents were separated. So it was just my mom, and she was doing her thing.
Yep.
And she was having fun and loving her life. And then when I saw her let that Navy role go and get more into just the retail space, I could see where that strength, it kind of started draining. Right, to the point where she didn't have something. So I think my point is strength, it can be positive, but there needs to be a balance.
Yes.
Right, and I think all of us have experienced one level or another, having a mother in our lives, and that framed some of that strength for us. And as I got older, it was a bit of pride to say I'm strong, especially when I went through that whole knowledge of self phase. Yeah, you're right, I'm strong.
Yep.
But then as I matured, I'm like, geez, I'd like to take a break.
Yeah. Yep.
I like that I can call on that strength, but it's tiring.
It's tiring.
It's tiring. We're leaning too much, and our nervous systems are stressed out and strained out, which again, back to the stat.
Absolutely.
And not to be mistaken for, like, even when we do rest, not to be mistaken for doing nothing. Because I think that's where where we can actually start to create habits and patterns and behaviors and generational things that we aren't intentionally trying to do. So that's what's coming up for me. But then also recognizing that there's a difference between strength and endurance, right? And so like with strength, it is for a short period of time. You know what I mean? Like it's to be able to accomplish something for a short period of time. Endurance is being able to sustain certain activities. It's like, and so for me, I've also been looking a lot at what does it look like for me to live a life that is sustainable?
Right.
It's like if I can't keep this up, whatever this up is, if I don't see myself doing that next year, then I need to stop doing it like that this year.
I agree.
Or if I don't see myself doing it next quarter or whatever, then I need to make some kind of adjustment. Otherwise, the strength, I'm not going to have the endurance. I'm going to have strength,
you need
and burst of strength, and then that's it.
You have to regenerate.
Discipline
you
in
need
your
time.
strength.
Rest, the balance is rest so that you can regenerate and do what you need to do.
Absolutely.
It's not about saying, I don't want to be strong, this is bothersome. It's no, I need a break so that I can replenish all those good things that keep me strong, that help me fortify, whether I'm holding up my community, holding up my damn self, a family. We all have to take a break. And I feel like Black women, particularly Black women, are always seen as you got this.
You got it.
Yeah.
And I hate it when people tell me that. Don't
actually.
And what's next?
Help me out.
What? Right.
Exactly.
A nap for 2 years.
What's next?
A nap for 2 years. Leave me alone.
That's good.
And that's the interesting part too, because it's always like, and I feel like we do this a bit to ourselves. I know to me, I'm like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And I think, like we were saying, like resting is like, I'm not doing enough. But part of that I do think is played into society in that we have experience that we have to be twice as good to get half as much.
Exactly.
And literally we're doing 75% of all of the work. And let's not talk about the work we're doing in these organizations and corporations. That's a whole nother side of it.
The unspoken and spoken work.
Listen.
Right.
The unspoken
Unpaid labor.
And on top of that, the labor that we have internally to process. Think about it. When you know you have to be twice as good to get half as much, and you're fighting, even though you know that you're amazing, that you're that you know this stuff like the inside and outside of your hand.
Yeah.
That's weighty.
Yeah.
Very, very heavy. So it's a heavy load. I mean, I was watching the guy who wrote the book The Atomic Habits. One of my
James
favorite.
Clear, love him.
Yeah, James, he is amazing. I was watching him on Diary of a CEO, another great podcast, and he was talking about how like this go at it attitude is not the way to go.
It's
to
not
your point, you
not
crash and burn. It's you cannot endure that for too long. And the way that he also described it, he said people like to buck against the storm. And what he described was be like a tree and flow with the storm. Like trees don't crack, they don't break. I mean, if it's some storms will get that bad, and that's all of us. If the storm is so heavy, then it will break. But be flexible. Be flexible. Bend with it. Don't buck against it, because you're not gonna win.
That part.
That's right.
That part. I mean, and just to that point,
down.
it's like nature is our greatest teacher. And so like when we think about how things are sustained in nature from season to season and how it blooms again and all of that stuff, we're the same way as it relates to the rest that we need, as it relates to, like when I think about strength again in this conversation, sometimes it's mental toughness
Yeah.
that we're also having to deal with. And so that impacts a whole different kind of emotional labor,
Right.
you know, because it's like you are, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but it's like I probably live more in my head than I do in my heart.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Working on that.
Me too, girl. Me
You
too.
too? Okay,
Me
so
too.
I'm not alone. I'm not alone. And so sometimes in this head of mine, I am like trying to solve all sorts of stuff. You know, like I'm like, and then what about, but we could also be thinking about, and then why not, right? And it's like, it's
Yeah.
running. And so what it requires is to let go the need to have to do all of that work as though I was designed to do all of that work. For me,
Yeah.
God is, you know, like God, ancestors, guides, universe, you know, like that is, I'm not the one who's supposed to have all the answers. I'm not the one who's supposed to have all the solutions. And so I can rest, you know, like I can give my mind and my brain some rest so that my spirit and my heart and the physical body of me is able to move and be able to flow in the way that I was naturally designed. But strength, you know, is like, what do we think we have to do?
Yeah.
You know, like we don't have to. And so coming to that, reconciling that point of, I actually don't have to. Okay, so if I don't have to, how can I use my imagination a little differently in this moment? You know?
I wanted to interject that I feel like that imagery of being the strong one, it's also traumatizing, right? A lot of us, at least me, I know I adapted my strength because I had to answer for some traumas and things that I'm trying to work through.
Yeah.
So again, all that held constant in terms of it's burnout. You get to a point where you're tired.
Yep.
I'm working on reframing strength and bringing in the softness. We might say femininity or whatever that looks like, but that's been one of my, like literally my word for next year is lay sigh. Like,
What's your word?
Lay, like sigh. Just
Like deep,
because I've been holding
really.
stuff in, right?
Yeah.
That's good.
And through my practices, and I know hopefully we have some time to talk about, you know, what are we doing to balance, to counteract that, right? What are the practices?
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about like, I love this question because I have a really good answer. Where does mental load live in your body?
Oh.
I look at myself, y'all, like I am like, oh, nothing bothers me. I'm good. What I noticed 2 years ago is stress shows up in not so evident ways all the time. So there was a situation going on, and I didn't realize this was connected to it until the situation ended. So like I started getting like eye twitches. I'll get muscle twitches.
Right.
Y'all, I'm like, what is going on? Like I can see, but I'm like, why are my eyes twitching, y'all? Right.
Yep. I get size. I can see. Yes.
I'm dead.
I can see. It's so stupid. But like, first it was my right. It was both eyes. My left eye stayed consistently. I swear, y'all, my eye twitched for almost a year. Almost to the day that this thing got resolution, it stopped. Wow. I said, oh shit.
Wow.
And I said, oh, Haja, you gotta be careful because you're not connecting. First of all, admit that this is stressful, right? Because I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Admit that this is stressful and allow yourself to figure out what you need to do for yourself. Whether you have signs of something or not, you need to attack this issue and denying it. And I feel like sometimes, it's funny because who said it? You said they ain't put out the survey. It's more than 75% they ain't put out the survey.
They were too busy.
They was busy. I met this woman similarly at work, and she had 4 kids. She was raising by herself, and she said people used to say, I don't know how you made it. She said, I think I had a nervous breakdown a long time ago. I was too busy to notice.
Damn.
We cannot be too busy to notice. We have to start to see signs in our body. So that's how it shows up. And then now recently, my eyes start twitching again. I was like, okay, but I know what it is now. Right. I know what it is now. Yeah. But I can connect it. And I'm like, this is not sustainable.
No.
It's not sustainable.
No, absolutely not. And for you, mine was styes. Right? I would get a sty. I grew up, sometimes having styes. I remember we moved a lot and I had a big sty. So I didn't know back then, but I connect the mind-body connection. Yeah. I also can feel it in my digestive space. Yep. Right? It could either be overactive or not.
Absolutely.
But it's an extreme on either side.
Yep.
And I think that's where that daily practice of tuning in, whether it's 5 minutes you meditate in the morning, half an hour when you can or whatever, that helps us recognize those signs, because a lot of us, especially Black women, weren't even taught to
How to even
recognize,
cope. Yeah, or
to
cope.
recognize
Well,
first and foremost, right? You know when somebody's knocking on your door, you answer that.
Right.
But how does your body knock when you are overstimulated?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then leading yourself towards hypertension. Or now
all
you have
types of
acne.
stuff. Yep.
All kinds of things go on. It's just, I think that's what draws me into studying like things like Ayurveda and yoga, because the body is a machine.
It is.
It's a vessel. We're here. It's got triggers. It also has an amazing healing mechanism.
Yeah.
But we get so stressed out to the point we short circuit the part that's supposed to help us heal.
Yes.
Those things are important.
Yep.
Right? So
Very much so.
just got to get still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Radiant
Yeah,
Rest. Didn't I
anything
share
to
that book with you, Aquia?
I'm just
I
thinking
think
about
it's called
the
Radiant
fact
Rest.
that
The
that's
book?
really, that's
The
real.
Radiant
And I
Rest.
think
I'm
about
sorry.
what you,
What'd you say? I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We in this restaurant, y'all. It's kind of loud.
I know.
I was just thinking about what you were saying, and I think about everything that you also consume, like
Yes,
that
that you put
absolutely.
into your body.
Yes, yes.
What you are reading, what you're looking at, like
Listening
all of that
to.
is a
Senses.
factor.
Yes.
All of it.
All of
All
that.
of it.
Yeah.
And I would add too that for me, sometimes I feel it as though my everything in me is rushing. You know, like everything
Like
is
a
just-
traffic
it's
flow.
moving.
Yeah.
But I'm letting that run me.
Ooh.
Like that's when I know the load is doing too much loading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's like I feel the fastness in me, and then I'm like back to being a sprinter again.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when I know, like, but in my life, you know, and that's when I know it's like, okay, this is definitely mental, that I'm feeling it in my body.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
with every opposite, you know, with everything, there's an opposite. So if my body is doing a thing, it's probably connected to my mind.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
Tune
So,
in and
yeah.
feel the joy, though, right?
Yeah.
Some aromatherapy.
Right.
Yeah.
Just breathing some lavender real quick.
Right.
Okay.
I do want to ask this question to Ramat, because Ramat talked about before the trouble and challenges with asking for help.
Oh my God.
So, look, she's like, oh Lord. how has being strong shaped your ability to ask for help?
It's been a growth process, honestly. Being someone who's always said, I can do it on my own, I can do it, I just need a little minute, but I can do it, I can make it happen.
Yeah.
Understanding that I do have people who want to help me, and that's how they want to give back to me.
Yes. That's a
Has
blessing.
allowed me to say, you know, okay, I can let you be there for me, and I receive this, and I thank you for being there for me in that way. So, I mean, I get that from a lot of my friends. I get that from my husband, definitely. So it's taken a lot to say, to stop and be like, okay, girl,
Yeah.
relax.
Yep.
You got you got people right here that can help you.
Yeah.
Right.
Open your mouth. Say what you need. And if they can't, you know, help you there, you have somebody else that will.
Yeah.
And trust that you do. Like, it's going to be okay. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what it's really looked like for me. Just taking a minute and stepping back and saying, girl, you ain't got to do it all.
Right.
And then you get the, like Rondi said,
Yes.
Y'all,
You know,
my
that's
word
it.
for next year, it's not a
That
word, it's a
relief.
sound, right? It's just
Yeah.
it is.
Well, I have a question
release.
based off of that. You asking Ramat that. I'm curious with you two things. One, how do you know when you need help? Like, how do you know when you need help? And then how do you know what to ask for? Because I don't think it's always the same thing.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes you know that you need help, but you might not be 100% clear on
Right.
what you actually need, what you're actually asking.
There's an interesting side of that, because there's a service help, and then there's a emotional help.
Right.
I struggle with both. Right. The emotional help is probably the hardest. So first of all, it's hard to identify. Again, like even with me emotionally going, like you can't help me with the situation. The situation has to clear itself.
Yeah.
But I need support, and then articulating what that support looks like. I don't know. You're absolutely right. That is harder than me saying I need you to come shovel my driveway. That's easy, right? That's ones and zeros. That's binary. You know what I'm saying? But helping me emotionally with something that I'm going through, whether it's with family or business or whatever it is,
Therapy.
that is very hard.
Yeah.
So I honestly, don't have a good answer for you.
I want to
Therapy
say,
has helped me.
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, investing in a good therapist has helped me formulate a plan. Then one of my last sessions with her, she told me to, I think she just paused. That's what it was. She said, this is your season to pause for all the things that I've been dealing with for the past several months.
Yes.
And I thought that notion sounds strange. Damn, yes. And now I've been embracing that.
Yeah.
But I had to invest in someone to give me that blueprint because I couldn't do it, even with all this knowledge around me, all these things I know I should do.
Yeah.
Meditate in the morning.
All the books.
Just walk away, take a cold shower. What? But the action, right? Awareness is one thing, but what's that action plan look like, and how do you execute? And I think that's what we're kind of getting to. The execution of rest.
Yeah.
It's you can plan for it, but you might not actually do it.
Yeah, that's true.
I would say to that, what I've learned is the most simplest thing that helps me get through a lot of the stuff that I have that I want to just put down is write that shit down.
Yeah.
I was gonna say smoke a joint and then write that.
That too. But while you're writing,
Yes.
write that shit down.
Yeah.
Cross it off. Like
Yes.
be diligent
twice.
in saying, okay, I got to get this off my list.
Yes.
I need to put this down. So
100%.
let me make this happen. Let me speak my piece on what I need here.
Yes.
All right, I did that. I'm done with that.
Right.
So it for me, it just became making a list of the things that I need to check off the work that I need to do.
Yeah.
So others can be there and support me the way that I
Right,
need
and
to
That's
be
a
you
great
get your
idea.
brain
I
a
love that.
reward too. That sense
Yes.
of accomplishment, it releases endorphins
Yeah.
and make
Yeah.
us go, you know what?
I did
That
something.
and
I did something.
Well,
good.
thank y'all for
Today.
thank y'all for saying that. I want to summarize it for myself too, and then I'll be complete. So, from what I'm hearing from what
bring
you
you
all have
home.
said, yes, is first and foremost understanding that there's a difference between emotional help that you might need and maybe physical help that you might
Service.
need,
Yeah.
right? So the service. So getting clear on that. Adding into what you said, Ramah, in terms of writing it down. Big fan of writing things down. Write down what that emotional, what the emotional help is that you might need, the physical or the service help that you might need. Like write that down. And then the other thing that Andy pointed to is also and then choose to invest, right? Like if you can invest in a therapist, sometimes your health insurance covers
medium,
it.
somebody.
But explore and see if you can get some professional
Yes.
support as well. So thank y'all for that, because I think that's a big thing that we need to work on as women of color is really learning how to get more clear on how we know that we need help, how we ask for help, so that we can actually do that and keep moving forward. So thank y'all for that.
And I think sorry, go
No,
ahead.
it's just from an order perspective, do we think it makes more sense first if we get that? Sometimes having an acts of service support gives you the time so you can sit and think about what that would look like.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
that's
if
a
I'm
good
too
point.
busy doing 30 things,
Yep.
when am I going to have a time to unbusy myself
Right.
and think about what I need to write down?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's actually, so what I was going to say is when you mention pause, I think that is very, very important. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
hold on, let me
Yes.
stop. I used
Always.
to, there was a cartoon, I don't think it was quite a cartoon, but it was called A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Oh, my daughter loves that show.
It's
She
so
loves that
good.
movie.
So if this was when my kids were little, right? But
Yeah.
when my kids were little, but what would happen with me, and I think this was like a universal sign, was there would be a series of unfortunate events. And I used to tell my kids, once I see 2-3 things go wrong in a row, I'm staying in the house.
Right on.
I surrender.
It's a great
Right.
sign.
Standing
I'm
back.
serious.
Yeah.
So that to me
Surrender.
is surrender. It's that
Yeah.
pause and
Yeah.
say something is not aligned
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
I wish I think I still get similar kinds of signs now.
Yeah.
But that's a sign to me, and I think that when we are quiet enough, we can hear the signs. We can see the signs. They're all there. Something is adding up to say there needs to be a different choice
Different
made,
choice, different move.
a different move,
Yeah.
right? Different chess play,
Different
something,
move.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
that's
amazing.
Real
Yeah.
quick, I want to tie it into aging. So even more important as we age, 40s and up, we are entering, or we might already be in the menopause, perimenopause. And and I don't have a stat, I wish I did. We get diagnosed with ADHD or some type of attention deficit disorder. So again, talking to a professional, to a therapist, can help maybe identify where you've been going like crazy, going strong, because your brain has been wired that way.
Yes.
You need some balance back.
There you go.
Meditation might not be enough.
Right.
Writing a list,
That's
you
true.
might actually need to take a pill.
And when you ADD, you just ain't gonna. I know I'm
Right.
I'm not gonna put any labels on myself, but I just have a hard time.
Even if you're trying to get medicated, you kind of do. But to your point,
Yeah.
it's just, this is the time where even more of the burnout starts to
Yeah.
be more present and be more
absolutely.
apparent to others versus just
Yeah.
yourself, because you do have we're walking around here undiagnosed. We're all neurospicy
Absolutely.
without the right type of.
Neurospicy.
No, seriously.
We are.
I call
We
myself
are,
that all the
I think
time.
we
But
all
Give me a spicy mimosa anyway.
yeah, so drop of Adderall.
right.
Thanks.
Right. All right, y'all. I want to move on to this next question. I was thinking about moving on, but I like this question because this is one where I have an experience that's so rooted. Do people confuse your strength with availability?
Yes.
Okay, clearly Ramont has
Uh-oh.
Go ahead,
Scroll.
Ramon.
Look at her.
Tell the story. I'm going to take a sip
shaking.
so I
Listen,
can tell
let's get
mine.
into story time with Ramont.
Drum roll.
Y'all hold
There was a
that.
stormy night over
No,
the forest coming.
seriously, it's-
I see Takuya.
I've always felt, and I'm sure you all know that you've all felt this as well. When you're good,
Oh.
You're gonna be
You're
caught.
in,
on.
you're in
You're gonna be
demand.
called on.
You're in demand.
The time.
That is 1,000% correct.
that's
Yeah.
it.
She said that's it.
That's it,
the
that's
long
all.
and short of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
learn
It's
how
a
to
blessing
navigate it.
and a curse.
Do.
Right?
I mean, but I think there's a time where you just like, hold up, I'm done with this part. So for me, I have not talked to this woman that I literally grew up with from diapers. I have not talked to her in probably 3 years now.
Okay.
And I can almost tell you the exact date. Now, this is not a spur of the moment thing. This was someone who would call me and be yelling, y'all, loading me. And so there got to a point in the relationship where I was like, wait a minute, we can't do this way. This does not work for me. I am now releasing you of everything that you dropped on me, but now I'm carrying it. So this was a continual practice, and it took many years, decades, for me to get to the point where I was like, this isn't gonna work for me anymore.
She was like dumping her
Oh,
days.
it was everything.
Energy vampiring. Or
It was
kinda?
it was everything. This person did this person did
Oh
this.
my
And you ever
gosh.
meet somebody that just seems like they have a dark cloud over their head?
Yes.
Everywhere they move. And I really sympathize with that. Like, there is always literally something terrible going on.
Avoid the unlucky and the unhappy and 48 laws of power.
Oh my
That's what he said.
goodness. It's like it is interesting. Now it seemed familiar, right? I do think that every spirit comes here to do something.
Yeah. Sure.
And everything is not meant to be in quotes good. This is why I don't really believe in good and bad. It just is what it is. The spirit came here to do that. Our human perspective thinks it is not a good thing or it is a good thing, but it is the thing that they came here to do. So now I was going through something. I had fallen out. My mom and I were beefing. Then my daughter and I were beefing. Then my son and I were beefing. And I was depleted because the three most important people in the world.
You were beefing with.
It was just, but part of that too was because of their demands on me. I was traveling for work. She called me really early in the morning. I was at the hotel getting ready to go to work, to the office. And she called. I had not talked to her for several months. She called, and the first thing she did, dumped. Now, when I saw her name in my phone, I was excited because I was like, finally, like, I need you at this point. And I said, I'm done.
I
You
know
were
that's
reaffirmed in your decision.
Yeah.
I said,
Have that space.
I was done. I said, I
Right.
cannot do this. And I didn't tell her. I just stopped. And call it right, wrong, indifferent. I don't care. Everybody was pulling on my energy. It was all about what everybody needed from me and not what it's just like this constant, like, I'm not fucking available all the time.
Right.
I'm tired too, and I'm going
Call
through
your
shit.
therapist.
As a matter of fact, my internet, that same time, my internet had gone before I had traveled for work. My internet was out for a week, y'all. I was working at Starbucks cold. I had a blanket on me. It was ridiculous.
Yes.
It was a tough time for me. And she didn't even open the conversation with,
How are you? What's going on?
you
And
doing?
that's
I haven't
important.
talked to you in months.
That's important. One of the things I do with my girlfriends that I know are energy empaths, I always say, do you have the capacity to talk right now? Can you hold space for me? Is this okay?
Yes.
And if maybe right now, but I will eventually.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'm sorry that happened to you because that's a very real traumatic
It was
event.
very traumatic.
It
It was.
is.
I remember where I was sitting, the time of morning, the day it was. It was a very happy time, and I just said, I'm not.
She
not
hasn't
doing
checked on you
this
since?
anymore. No, and that's the thing too. But I mean, and I blocked her on Instagram.
Oh.
Well,
But I did
good.
block
I
her
mean,
on Facebook. So I see all these things happening. I'm not,
everyone
Get
is
life
not
insurance.
so.
Nope. And everyone,
done.
everyone grieves differently.
Yes.
Say that one more time,
And
Quia.
sometimes
Grieves
part of the
differently.
grieving,
Yes.
sometimes part of the grieving is dumping and not being fully present. The amount of dumping you're doing.
Oh my God.
Because
Preach to the
you
choir.
aren't even that. How sometimes sometimes you might have experienced yourself being like, why do people always ask me for directions?
Yes.
I don't really. I mean, people don't ask me for directions.
don't
That's
ask
not- I'm
me
not that person. I don't give that energy.
Go left around
But
the tree.
you know how we all give a particular energy
Yes,
that
yes.
like the kids either
Yeah.
always
She
love
know.
you or whatever right. They're like, there's something about you're a cat lady or you're an animal person, whatever. Like
Right.
we all have a thing,
Right.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we are the space for people
Yes.
to feel like they can finally release.
Yes.
Now that said, some people have not found other outlets.
Right.
And they've
Right.
only used the
Yeah.
people in their lives, like they haven't engaged with nature for
Right.
a significant amount of time to know that, like, actually, if you could just step outside and go for a walk, like the earth can actually
God,
hold
you
you
feel
much,
so much
better.
like
Shoes
much
off.
more, or
Yeah,
like go to
shoes
the
off.
water,
Yeah,
it
not
can
now,
hold
it's
you. It's
20
expansive.
degrees.
Like people, we are not that kind of expansive. You know
We're
what I'm saying?
not,
In
yeah.
terms
We're
of
not.
like holding all of the stuff that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
We're not that. But I do remember one of the things that I used to do, and with my coaching practice, was I always told people in the beginning, so you have about 5 to 10 minutes to dump anything that you're upset about, anything you want to complain about, like that's in the first 10 minutes. But then after that, like we're going to actually get to some kind of resolution.
Absolutely. That's right.
Because I also know for myself, and even in my friendships, they know, like, if you're calling to talk to me about complaining about
Yep,
something,
I'm the same
you will either have a lot of silence on the other end, or it's not gonna be too long before I'm actually moving us into a conversation of like, well, how do you want to look at
How are we
Exactly.
fixing this?
how are we
Yep.
how are we going to resolve this? Because otherwise, what's the point for me?
Right.
Because I think conversation is so sacred.
Yeah.
I am not interested in being in conversation about complaints.
Yes.
It is not uplifting. It's not uplifting you. It's not uplifting me. So I want to give you the space to have a little bit of that space,
Right.
but not so much that it's going to make me feel like my light has been blown out.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I still have to move forward after this call. And if
Exactly.
I have to go
I
for
don't
a
wanna
2-hour
carry this.
walk
Right.
afterwards,
Yeah.
like
To release it.
that's
I didn't-
also when you start to assess what your relationship
I
is.
didn't bring it, but
Absolutely.
you know, I think the last time we were talking, I had that little jar and it said sage that shit.
Yes.
There's literally
What is
sage,
it?
Sage that
and
shit.
sage,
That's
there's
good.
resin in there, a lighter, because
Palo
I've had to
Santo.
pull over sometimes after talking and holding space for people, and I'm like, I can't take this energy.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
a yoga teacher especially,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta
you're
learn how to
holding
not
space
keep
with
it.
people. They come with from all different places.
Absolutely.
And if you're not careful, first of all, I got better at shielding too. I don't always do it, but I can
Yeah.
tell
You
when
can put
I
a
don't.
bubble around
'Cause
yourself,
you're like,
yeah.
Oh, you
I
can
feel-
definitely. You have
why
to
do
learn
I feel
how to.
weird? But that
Yeah.
again, I'm in my 40s. Nobody taught me to do that in my 20s.
No.
Well,
Nobody
no.
taught us any
No.
of that. I know no one taught me any
Walking
of
around with
this.
all these crazy
Yeah.
spirits just on me, like, hey,
Yeah.
let's go for the ride.
But that is a good point for people, for all of us to look at what is our armor.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like what is our holy armor as we
Yeah.
are out here moving in the world, and in a way so that we can always, and really I would say like our love armor. You know, like how am I still able to be a space for someone,
Right.
not so much though that they penetrate me that I can't
Yeah.
I can't move
can't move
forward.
forward, yeah.
Sometimes
And learning
it's
how to
just
do
not.
that. And that might be, I mean, that's definitely one of what has been on my side of that list of
Yeah.
what I need emotional support with versus
Yeah.
anything else
yeah.
versus service. But getting clear on that so that, and just documenting that, having a clear notebook for yourself.
Yeah.
I have a Know Thyself journal, you know, and I just keep, every time I learn something new about myself,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to, you know, like, because you're the only one that knows you.
Yeah.
And that ought to know you.
Right.
The way
Yeah.
that
Way that
you
need to
are.
know you. Right. Right. Yeah.
That's why I'm, in some aspects, most aspects, I'm very thankful to be the person that a lot of people reach out to and know that they have a safe space in me.
Yeah.
but also knowing that no, we gonna create a solution here, and in that solution, I get fed as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I
Reciprocity.
get that,
Right.
that reflection of
Yes.
okay, girl. Well, you got some things you need to work on too. So,
Yes.
but yeah, you definitely have to learn to have boundaries
Yes.
and what that is.
1,000%.
And I
So
think that
good.
you said reciprocity. I think that's it. If what I learned, and this has been the strong friend has been the strong friend trope, I'll call it, has been the thing for me since I was younger. And what I recognize is if you can't call me with your good news, don't call me with your bad.
Yeah.
Because I learned. I don't know how old I was, maybe in my 30s, and I said, "Oh, I'm your therapist." And I said, okay, well,
Pay
I'm
me.
still going to hold space for you, but I won't call you a
invoice.
friend, right? Because friends, there's reciprocity.
Yeah. Yes.
Friends, there's
Exchange.
give and take.
Yes.
There's exchange. And we're sharing the good, the bad, the ugly. You get a I don't know, something great going on in your life, and I don't hear about it. And I'm like, well,
Right.
why do I have to be the dumping ground for all the bad? Like, I wanna
Because you're
be
the strong
lifted,
friend.
too.
Yeah.
Because you're the strong one.
like,
she can take this. I can give this to her.
literally can't. Like, I really want
who
to
gave
hear
me that
great
title?
news.
How did
Right?
that
Who
even
gave me
get
that
up?
title? Yeah.
I don't know. We
Yeah.
astrology girlies here a little bit.
Yes,
I had an
you know I am.
interesting read, and it was about my moon, right? My moon sign is Scorpio, and this, according to this astrologist, so the same thing was like, why are people always coming to me with their problems? And you know, I'm glad that I'm able to go and I don't mind helping support people through change or whatever,
Yeah.
because that's literally what I love to do. But why I'm over here? Why are you over?
Right.
And when you have a Scorpio moon, apparently that's just we bring out the shadow things in folks. Sometimes it could be unnerving, particularly if they don't want you to know what's going on. I'm not saying I'm a psychic. It's just I realize
You're
like,
a
wow,
seer,
this is
though.
kind of what I need to get better at
Yeah.
helping versus running from it.
That's
or
good.
That's
deflecting.
well.
But
I think that's a beautiful point too.
yeah,
Yes.
yes.
For those who need to start to
That's-
pour into instead
Yeah.
of pulling out of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But back to
yeah.
what you were saying, Aquia, earlier,
Yeah.
when I think even in response, is baby, but like you did, I actually know. Just,
Yeah.
you know what, you don't get to have access to me anymore,
Yeah.
and being able to discern
Yeah.
when to do it, who to do it, how to do it too, because some people it set off a whole chain of events you don't want,
Oh,
Absolutely.
because
Yeah.
you're cutting
Yeah.
off their lifeline,
Yeah.
right?
And so what you were
Yeah.
saying too, Andy, like I also the thing that's becoming more and more apparent too is like a lot of the times people come to us because it is our gift.
Right.
And sometimes the gift is hidden. You know, like we are not
It's meant to
necessarily-
make
we
us
don't
know.
We don't
Yeah.
always see it as
Yeah.
a gift.
True.
We
Right.
we sometimes see
just
it
who
as
you
like
are.
A burden.
But I think learning how to, at least for myself, learning how to better be with my gift and like being able to name it as a gift, and then figuring out better ways to like to refine my skill set around it and refine the boundaries that are required and like when is it appropriate, you know, it's like all the rules,
Yeah.
the rules to the gift.
Yeah, that's- yeah.
And so that's also what I'm thinking
Yeah.
about too.
Has anyone checked on y'all? Like you've checked on them?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's really good.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think that for me, I do get checked on. I don't expect it. But I
feel
feel
good,
like
too, don't it,
still
when it
there's an imbalance.
It feels good when it happens, though.
It does
Yeah.
feel good when it happens. But I also know that I have to make myself available, right? And again, I think it goes back to asking for help, right?
Yeah.
I think that when you let people know that you need help, they start to remember to ask you, do you need it? So it's like, it takes a lot. It's very scary for me to tell someone I need help. But when you do that, first of all, people feel good about giving help. I always do. And then so if it's like, okay, let me call and see if Ramon needs help at the shop, or you know what I'm saying, Aquia needs help with building her program, or Andi needs someone to help practice yoga. Or, I don't know, go try out a few moves. I don't know how that goes.
She's been
But-
holding space for much more than that, y'all.
Right, exactly. But like it helps because it just creates this flow and the reciprocal process of now we're in a true friendship
Yeah.
relationship.
Yes.
I love that. Recently, I've been getting invited out to lunch,
Have
and I was
you?
like,
That's
"Oh,
cute.
this is what we do now.
Yes.
This is awesome."
I
Like
love
girlfriends,
Hey,
"Hey,
girls,
girl,
go grab a
you wanna
bite
go to lunch?
to eat."
Let's go to
Yes.
lunch." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes, let's go to lunch."
Being
love
included
that.
helps, right? When you know
Yeah.
you're included and it's a safe space, we're more likely to say, dang. It might even just come up naturally. Something
Yeah.
that you've been holding on to and working on and fix. This person could just say, oh, I have time.
Yeah.
Or let me listen to that. I know a person. It's a connection,
Yeah.
right? But then like to your point, being in that flow, putting ourselves in those right spaces, aligning with people that bring that liquid flow versus someone that's stagnant, because they're coming and bringing you all this muck they've been holding on to. I don't know how therapists do it. I don't know. Probably why a lot of them crazy.
Right.
I mean, one other thing I'll add too is like, I think it's also like I would say how I ask for help is more inside of like creative, like how I do it. It's usually, so some of my closest girlfriends are we're inside of a community together, and we do a lot of training and development work together. And so one way that I ask for help is I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do a 30-day, 40-day challenge, you know, because that's part of our community. Who wants to be in it with me? Or someone else might say they're going to be doing a particular challenge. Who wants to be in it with them? And so we've already developed this rich relationship around development, you know, like personal and professional development. And so and spiritual development, so how we rock with each other is like that. And so I've learned about myself that like, when I want to lead something, that is me asking for help. And the reason why is because I'm seeking a particular breakthrough for myself, and I'm still exploring. Like, I'm not coming to it as though I'm the teacher. You know, it's like, but I'm exploring it, and I want to be able to explore it with other people. And so for me, leaning into that's my style of help. You know, like that's one aspect of my style of help. And recognizing that we all do it. We all have our own way of how we paint that ask. But I think being able to be aware of what it is so that we can strengthen how we do it so that it really does feel like a different kind of flow.
I love that. That's
so
so good.
Give me an idea. I'm gonna start doing a nap challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Like a rest challenge. Like, you know, all jokes aside, have you napped today? Or how many hours of sleep have you gotten? You know, how many days have you hibernated, especially during the winter where our bodies naturally want to move slower, especially in the Northeast Ohio
and
area.
store all this good food.
Like,
No,
seriously,
seriously,
gotta
but
put
it's
on
like, you know, I
clothes.
think challenges involve a lot of action, testosterone and movement. And I'm gonna challenge you. Have you rested? How many hours this week have you rested? I think I can beat you. I'm gonna beat you.
We have to create what we need.
Make it
you
fun.
know?
Absolutely.
We have to
we
create
need.
what we
Absolutely.
and articulate it.
Napchallenge.com.
And I think about like years ago. I remember this is kind of a detour, but it's gonna come back. There was I realized that I wanted to start a nonprofit, and it was because I was doing this walking tour in a neighborhood in Massachusetts, and I was so hurt by how this neighborhood was designed, and I was like, I don't understand how people are crossing highways with strollers. Like, it was just, and you know, the opposite side of the highway. One side is good, you know, like the opposite side of the track kind of conversation. And so when I got my master's in urban planning, I was like, I'm going to focus on community development. And I had this hypothesis. I was like, I feel like we can I feel that there's another way we can be transforming urban planning. And I had a hypothesis. And so that's what had me start my nonprofit. And then we started doing a lot of sister-to-sister youth summits for high school girls. And I was like, we can start with the girls and individuals, then families, then communities. And learning that we are building our communities, right? Like one person at a time. So when you have a need, whatever that need is, invite people into it with you, into problem solving with you. Create it in whatever way speaks to how you flow. You know what I mean? It's like, but for me, how I flow is like, I gotta have a program. I have a whole different way that I do it. But creating the things that we need, because if you need it, someone else does too.
Absolutely.
And there's something extremely powerful about remembering that it is not outside of us that we are able to get help. You know, it's like we are helping each other. We're not waiting for people to come and save us.
That's it.
You know, but we have to help each other.
I think that's like what I'm hearing you say is it's a shared experience.
Yes.
The help and the helped
Absolutely.
is a shared experience. Similar to I think kind of how you said it too, like it's a you're learning through helping your friend. And that's the circle of life, if you will. And taking your strength and sharing it. It's breaking up the load, if you will. So I appreciate y'all for sharing it. I just want to ask one more question before we move into our Ask Auntie segment. Was strength chosen or assigned?
I think it's both.
I think it's definitely both.
Would you say, Ramon? You say think
I
it's
agree.
both?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because you can be assigned it and not take it on.
100. Listen.
You can choose to do other.
I'm a runner. I'm a track star.
You can choose to manipulate. You can choose to do a whole bunch of other stuff other than be strong.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I agree. I feel like it's both. I do feel like the strength that is assigned is oftentimes rooted in a misunderstanding of the group or demographic of people. In our case, we're talking about amazing, beautiful Black women, and we sometimes appear strong, as Akuya was saying, her muscular, beautiful body. I don't want to use the word begrudged, but that's kind of what I heard. You know, she begrudged it. So someone might look at her and think, she don't need no man to change no tire. Or any other person to help her change a tire. And it's like, wait a minute, don't assign that strength to me because of what you see or how you idealize me.
Oh, right, call AAA.
Right, but then sometimes it's assigned, and then because of work.
Yes.
And we could choose different, but everybody's trying to make it. Everybody's trying to, I don't know, make it to the ivory tower in the sky, which don't exist. But you know what I'm saying? So it's like we have... And then it's assigned because it happened to our mothers.
Oh, yeah. I remember when it was assigned to me in the 5th grade.
What was that?
Please do.
You said...
I said I remember when it was assigned to me in the 5th grade. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
There was always... So I went to a private school, and I was new that year. And small school, small group of Black moms... met my mom, and they were like, why does Vermont have all these responsibilities? Not knowing that my mom was a single mom. I'm the oldest.
Okay.
So
parentified daughter is what I've learned.
Always pray for the oldest sister.
Yeah.
But
no, seriously.
You know, I had a younger brother. My mom was in recovery. She was also in school. Like, she had just got married. I'm gonna. That's my mom, my friend, my.
But you were parentified.
I trust. Yeah, I trust in everything that she's trying to be for me and beyond.
I'm a rock with her.
So I'm a rock with her.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna hold on to those responsibilities so my family can continue to thrive. And it was always looked down that my mother gave me so many different responsibilities, and I'm like, well, it's not bothering me right now, but I knew years later those responsibilities would take me to higher heights.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Just the wherewithal at that age. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, that's a real thing I'm hearing. And maybe I didn't hear so much from you, Akuya, but I learned there's this workbook called We Can Heal Too, or No One Told Us That We Can Heal Too. It's basically a therapy workbook for women of color, and there's these terms in there like parentified daughter and learn behaviors you do to cope.
Yes.
And the more we talk about these statistics and the more we bring light to, we've been silently suffering or maybe very loudly suffering, but not having that vocabulary that helps empower us. To say, well, I can change this.
Yeah.
Right? Because I I'm thinking I'm the only child. How am I parentified? But when I started peeling back the layers and writing down my story, I said, damn, this is actually not normal. Or it's not good. Normal is on the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't good. These are things I had to learn to cope through by basically parenting myself.
Yeah.
While meanwhile, your inner spirit, your light, your child is like, dog, what
girl.
about me?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I want to.
And it
I
comes
wanna
out
rest.
later.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for therapy.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. So
Louis,
that
too.
kind of lends itself to the Ask Auntie question.
Yes.
The question from our nieces. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
How do I rest without guilt when others depend on me?
Man, girl, put your phone on silent, put your blinders on, whatever. Take a nap.
I mean, one of the things that I'll say to that is you cannot give something that you don't have.
Can't pour from an
right?
empty
Like
cup.
you just,
No.
you cannot. It's not. It's actually impossible. And so I think that's the first thing is to always be able to check in and say, what do I have today?
Yeah.
You know, and even at the top of the day, like, what do I have and what do I need?
Yeah.
And so that you can serve yourself up first. And then you can see what else you have left in you to support. But it is critical to just make sure that you check in with yourself. And also remember, as you're checking in with yourself, building up your own belief that other people can take care of themselves.
Absolutely.
You know, like you have to find a way
that.
build up
Yeah.
your belief in that,
Yes.
so that you can act accordingly as well.
Yes.
Absolutely. I will say, too, I'm just going to piggyback on what Aquia said. When you check your capacity, when you check the available 10%, 5%, if you've given 95% to the rest of the world, make sure that whatever you do have left over, you've given some to yourself as well. Because just because you got some left over, and we were talking about this earlier, just because you got some left over, you might want to use that for your rest.
Always got to keep a little
And
for
that's
yourself.
okay.
Keep a
Keep a
little
little
for
bit for
yourself.
yourself.
Exactly.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care how big and brand new your truck or whatever is.
Come
it
on
can be
now.
the fanciest thing. If there's no gasoline in
Come
it,
on
it hasn't
now.
had a chance to get serviced.
Listen.
It ain't going
It's not
nowhere.
going anywhere. It's
Well.
not
Or
going to anybody.
electricity
Right.
as we move towards a more
Well.
green earth.
Whatever that looks like, you know, it's nice to know there's abundance, there's space, but we have to be mindful
You gotta
to take.
move.
Yes,
You
you
gotta be
have to
mobile.
be still, and I think that's. But to the point about the question with the guilt, I think I'm just at a stage where I don't hold on to that guilt because I know
Right.
that if I'm no good, nobody's gonna be
It's
any
tough
good.
when you're young now. Like these nieces, like it's like, oh my
It is.
god.
It's tough when
But
you're
especially if you grew up with it from 5th grade,
Yeah.
like 10, 10, 11 years old, you're like, what do I do? I know. It's
Just
Yes.
so free.
I
Yeah.
also I carry with me something my ancestor, my great aunt Jackie gave me
Hey, Jackie.
before she left this earth, and she said, the first law of nature is self-preservation.
Right on.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Auntie.
I'm thankful to see over the years how many times that saying has evolved for me. So
I see her eyes get misty. Oh, I love it. Hi, Auntie Jackie.
I just, you know,
Yeah.
I just to veggie back on that a little bit. I think part of what you're also bringing up with the emotion, right, is like that we have our ancestors to lean into, you know, and our elders to
Yeah.
lean into, or people that are a little older than us.
Their story,
and
their
their
history.
stories and their history, and to remember what they said about strength.
Yes.
To remember what they, like the softer side of it,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and what they demonstrated, because they may not have said it, they may not have had the language, but there was something you might have seen. And
Yes.
for us to like lift up all of our ancestors,
Absolutely.
all
Yeah.
of the women, you know, like I think about my great grandmother Ginger, and I think about Grandma Rose, and
Hey,
just
Ginger,
like,
hey, Rose.
hey Ginger and Rose, working on something for y'all, you know, but like just thinking about the kind of visionary
Yeah.
my great grandmother had to have, that my grandmother had, that their kids had, that her kids had, to even bring themselves over to this country.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
so
Oh,
I just,
That part.
there's a different
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of, and that takes me back to the endurance, and you know, and speaking of your aunt, like the endurance that it took. Self-preservation takes endurance.
Indeed.
It is not
Indeed.
it is not an overnight thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is like consistent, the discipline
Yeah.
of it. And so while we're talking in this short period of time, we know that it's not going to be that simple for you to integrate.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
compounding interest
Yes,
over
over
time.
time, little bit by little bit.
Yeah, little by little.
1%
So shout
will.
out to our ancestors.
Shout out to our ancestors. My God, thank you, nieces, for asking the questions. I do want to, we got to pass the plate, leave something on the plate. What do y'all want to leave on the plate? I'm going to say strength does not have to equal sacrifice. There's compromise in everything that we do. But when it becomes to self-sacrifice, we want to really start to question, are we showing up? Like we said, self-preservation. Are we giving ourselves as much as we're giving other people? And what do we have left over? So it doesn't mean that you have to self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me it's sometimes you need to keep your quiet private. You know, I think a lot of us like, to, especially with social media, we're sharing what's going on, and people go, "Oh,
Oh,
time,
yeah.
rubbing men
Yep.
together," right? Just like at work, you don't always. You might tell a client it's gonna take 3 hours. It could take 30 minutes. You need to be quiet. Be quiet, right? Be private about your quiet time so
Yeah.
that you can protect and
Private
preserve
about your
that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yes.
Love that.
Yeah.
I would say ask for help, even if you just asking yourself for help.
Okay.
Acknowledging that there is something present
Yeah.
that
Yes.
needs to be worked on.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I would say think about this conversation through the lens of endurance. What is going to support me with enduring the life that I was designed to live? And what are those rituals and practices that are needed so that I'm able to do that? And at what point is strength required versus other skills.
Absolutely. I love that. This has been an amazing conversation. We're going to close with our 3 songs. This first one, I have always loved this song. It is by Natasha Bedingfield. It's called Unwritten. This was one of my favorite songs. And the lyric we're going to leave with y'all is, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in.
Okay.
No one else. No one else can speak the words.
Get it, Hasha.
Yes. All right, y'all. Look, we ain't trying to get sued. The next one is Who You Are by Jessie J. This was another one of my favorites. I used to belt out in the car. It's okay not to be okay. Don't lose who you are. Don't lose who you are. Y'all don't know this song?
No.
I don't know that one.
I saw these show notes. I don't know who.
Seeing is deceiving, dreaming is believing.
Come on,
it's
get it.
okay not to be okay.
Well.
Yes.
All right, and the last one is Breathe by Faith Hill. Just breathe. You can't give it all away.
I got one.
Go ahead, girl.
Did you check on me? How's that song go? It's an Afrobeat song. Did you check on me?
Oh, yes. I love that song.
I don't know who it
What
is.
is her name? Yes. She said she was drinking.
Yes.
She said she was drinking a lot more.
Right. Did you check
And
on me?
did you check on her?
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great song.
great.
We should have added that one. All right, y'all.
All right.
We are going to close
Remix.
this brunch. Remix.
Oh, I got one.
Yes, go ahead. Come on.
Kendrick Lamar, I Choose Me.
Hey.
We're leaving y'all with all
Come
the.
on.
We're gonna wrap up this season with all the great songs we have shared. You got one, Queen?
Nope.
That's
I don't
okay.
know
That's
that one.
okay.
I trust y'all though.
We just want y'all to know you do not have to hold what you are carrying.
That's right.
You
Yes.
don't have to be strong all the
it down.
time.
Yeah.
Put it down. Let it go. Share it.
Yeah.
Share it with your aunties, too, nieces. If y'all need to DM us. We are always open here and ready to answer your questions. We are here for you. This table is yours. That's what we call y'all to brunch hers. And we just want to ask y'all, like, follow, share,
Yes.
comment, all the stuff, every platform we are on. Shout out to Breakthrough Sounds. Another shout out to Rood for hosting us here, and
Yes.
AB.
Thank you to the team.
Delicious.
Everything was awesome.
Amazing.
Very family friendly
Everything.
environment.
I'm gonna pour Andy a little bit of this because we're gonna close this table with some
Give me some apple juice cider, apple cider.
right.
Cheers.
This table is closed.
Cheers.
Group Chat Over Brunch, y'all. Y'all favorite
Peace.
podcast for Black women over 40.
Hey.